The NFL's leading tackler, Roquan Smith, is now a Baltimore Raven. Let's break it down. One of my favorite players in the NFL is Roquan Smith, and he is now a Baltimore Raven. The Ravens gave Chicago a 2nd and a 5th round draft pick, so Roquan Smith is now a Baltimore Raven. Now, what does this mean? Well, in case you don't remember, Roquan Smith demanded a trade because he was a first-round pick in 2018, so he's on year 5 with the Bears. What happens is if you're a first-round pick, you get a 4-year deal with a 5th-year team option. Well, instead of getting that 5th-year team option, Roquan Smith wanted a deal like Shaquille Griffin, where he got a 5-year, $98.5 million contract. Well, when I say he really wanted more. So he wanted around $100 million, which the Bears were not willing to do. Now, there is no guarantee Roquan Smith is getting a long-term deal from the Ravens, but you got to think that because you gave up a 2nd and a 5th, that your goal is to keep Roquan Smith long-term. Now, the Rams gave up a 2nd and a 3rd last year for Von Miller, and he was only there for half a season, but you did win a Super Bowl. So you have to wonder, are the Ravens planning on keeping Roquan Smith long-term? Now, here's the interesting part. The Ravens right now going into 2023 have already spent $178.5 million, and this year's salary cap is 205, and that number is going to go up. But right now, without making cuts, you have an estimated $30 million in salary cap room for next year. So if you give Roquan Smith the contract he wants and deserves. I mean, Roquan Smith, the leading tackler in the NFL, one of the best players in the National Football League, he deserves a big-time contract. But if you give him that money that he wants, there's not a lot of room for somebody else on the Ravens roster who may also want a long-term deal. So this offseason becomes very interesting because bottom line, you can sign one or you can sign the other, but you can't do both. Now, you might be able to do both. You might be able to get extremely creative here, but more than likely, no. So either you get Lamar Jackson signed this offseason or you get Roquan Smith, but more than likely one is gone after the season, and one of these guys was just traded for a 2nd and 5th round draft pick. Now, what about Chicago? Yes, I am fully aware that they just lost to Dallas by 20 points, but Justin Fields didn't have a terrible game. Plus, that Monday night performance just a week before, he had the game of his career. See, I think Chicago believes in Justin Fields, and I remember Josh Allen having a pretty rough first 2 seasons in the NFL. Now, if you don't think it's a fair comparison to compare Josh Allen and Justin Fields, take a look at the numbers. Josh Allen's first 2 seasons in the NFL, he averaged under 200 yards passing a game, while he did rush for 17 touchdowns and 1,141 yards. Statistically speaking, Justin Fields and Josh Allen's first 2 seasons are awfully similar. But what did Buffalo do in year 3? Well, they traded for Stephon Diggs, and Josh Allen goes from mediocre to star. Is Chicago planning on trading for a wide receiver? Well, they now have the draft capital to do so. Could you also be planning for a long-term Justin Fields contract? To me, the trade Chicago is making now seems like they're all in on Justin Fields being the future of this franchise. Baltimore, on the other hand, appears not to be all in on Lamar Jackson. Now, there's a lot of good quarterbacks coming out in the draft, and several of them are exceptionally mobile. This trade, to me, comes down to quarterbacks. While Chicago, on one hand, seems like they're going to build around Justin Fields, Baltimore seems like they're just going to build a good team and possibly use that first-round pick next year on a quarterback. Will Lamar Jackson be a Raven after the season's over? It's really hard to say, but this trade kind of indicates the Ravens are saying no. Now, I want to know what your opinion is. Drop a comment below. What do you think of the trade? Who won? Who lost? Let's hear your opinion. Now, I'm going to go live tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Join the growing community of fans of all 32 NFL teams. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to go live. Join the show. It's going to be a good one, and I hope to see you tomorrow night.